coaching isn't about having the answer. Coaching is helping somebody else find the answer that's already within them.
Hi, it's John Bernatovich, your host of the HR Like a Boss podcast. Welcome to Season 3. I've embarked on a journey to get to know amazingly awesome HR and business professionals with the hope of finding what it takes to do HR like a boss. If you like the show, please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Hello again, and on today's show, I am joined by Tom Daniels. Tom is another one of our great NOHRC speakers that we're doing a showcase on the NOHRC series that's coming to Cleveland, the Cleveland area on May 18th and May 24th. So Tom, welcome to the HR Like a Boss podcast.
John, thank you so much for the invite. Happy to be here.
And I'd love to get your perspective on how you see the purpose of human resources.
I really believe the purpose of HR is to engage and enable people in that organization to perform at their best each and every single day. At the same time, it's about enabling the organization to deliver on its mission and their goals. So it is kind of that they do both sides. So it's about the people as well as the organization. And I think it happens through many of the different functions of HR. Kind of the way to really look at that is that HR represents the people and the culture of an organization. So they find their time with the people and find the time to make sure that the organization is achieving its mission and also achieving its goals. So I think that's kind of how I see HR.
Again, Tom will be at the NOHRC series on May 24th. And Tom, you're going to talk a little bit about your actual topic is coaching for career development, engaging employees in their career development. We are very specific about accentuating the word there. Tell me about what you plan on covering and why that topic means so much to you.
Yeah, so, well, if you look at some of the data and I work in academics, so you got to make sure you have data to back up what you believe. But Forbes reports that U.S. companies and organizations spend over 166 billion with a B dollars every year on leadership development. Incredible amount of cash that companies are spending. But at the same time, there's McKinsey reports that 3 out of 4 employees say that their direct supervisor is the most stressful aspect of their job. These two things don't make sense. How are we spending this much money, $166 billion every single year on leadership development, but at the same time, our most stressful aspect of our job for 75% of people is their immediate supervisor? We're clearly missing something there. We're totally missing some connection around leadership development and our connection to people. And so and then also, again, some of the data that would show that career development is one of the main reasons that people leave organizations, is because they don't see a future. They're not being talked about a future in that organization, so they leave. So taking just these 3 points of data is why I'm a believer that coaching, and specifically coaching for career development, can make a difference with our people and, of course, within an organization. And so, I'm a believer that careers are not ladders. There's not the career ladder. We've been taught that since we were little, that there's a career lattice, but in true reality, it's a lattice. Nothing is a direct up. There's lateral moves. There's down moves. Sometimes you move down to go up, and we've heard this before. And so, and not everybody is meant to go from project director to senior project director to a director of project directors, right up to vice president. What if they didn't like the job being a project director? But we didn't know that, but we just assumed that that's what they enjoyed. So that's why we promoted them, and we're going to continue to promote them in jobs that they don't really enjoy. And we know this happens. Even look at the people in HR. There are not a lot of people, I should say, there are a whole lot of people in HR who happen to fall into HR or found HR as a profession during their career. But if they hadn't had somebody had a conversation with them about their career, about what they enjoyed, then they probably don't end up in HR. And so I believe that career discussions are crucial to enable our people to be able to achieve their goals, as well as for our organization. So our session on the 24th, it's going to be very practical. It's designed to be very practical. I want you attendees to be able to say, I can take this and I can use this tomorrow at work. That's the design of the program. That's not a lot of theoretical. Yeah, we'll have some theory about why we do that, but let's make sure we have some practical things that we can go to work on Monday or that go to work the next day and use.
Give me the chance to tell you about the NOHRC series, which is coming on May 18th and May 24th. It's called NOHRC HR Hit Reset. And it's a great speaker series. It'll have wonderful individual thought leaders like Tom Daniels and others that again will be at the Cleveland area, Independence at the Rockside Road Holiday Inn, May 18th, May 24th. You'll hear from industry experts on latest HR trends and strategies, and don't miss out on this chance to network with your fellow HR colleagues and elevate your career, which is really important to Tom in his presentation. You can register at clevelandSHRM.com. And for those that are attending on Tom's Day, we'll call it Tom's Day, May 24th, I hope you stop by our HR Like a Boss recording booth, as we're going to be interviewing some special guests on a short 5-minute podcast, as well as telling you about how you can do amazingly awesome HR. What's the one practical tip you can give my awesome audience, the HR Like a Boss family, on how to make an impact on someone else's career through that leadership development?
So I'm a believer that as a leader, your job is to be genuinely curious. And so that's not a good tip, right? Being genuinely curious, because it's not very specific. However, I think it's incredibly important as a leader to be genuinely curious. Being genuinely curious means asking good questions, asking questions of others. And that's what coaching is. Coaching isn't about having the answer. Coaching is helping somebody else find the answer that's already within them. And so asking incredible questions or very good questions to help people grow and help people find that answer is the key. One practical tip is, if you start a question with, do you XYZ, you're asking the wrong question, because that is a very closed-ended question. Yes, I do, or yes, or no, I don't. However, if you add the word how before that, how do you, then it's an open-ended question. So something very, very simple about how you ask a question can be very, very impactful.
Tom, how would you describe someone that does HR like a boss?
Well, I'm fortunate to have a lot of friends who are HR gurus and HR bosses, for sure. For me, when I look at them and I say, well, how would I describe them? Because they are HR like a boss. They don't talk about seats. They own a seat. They actually own the seat, so they don't have to talk about it. I think that they also continuously grow in their position, so they're finding opportunities to learn, like coming to NOHRC and being able to seek out the next role. So they're not expecting the next role, they're interviewing and they're working towards that next role. A big part of my opinion of how somebody HR like a boss is that they are a trusted advisor, both in the business, not an HR business, but in the business, as well as outside the organization. So, my favorite HR people are people I can go to, and it doesn't matter that they'll help me because they can be an advisor. They're not going to just tell me what I want to hear. They're a trusted advisor and somebody who can provide me their perspective and give some opinion about the way things should be in a certain situation. So even had a phone call with a friend who said, hey, Tom, we have this situation going on in our organization. I know you hang out with a lot of HR people. Is there anything else we should be thinking about? And I was like, oh, well, here's one or two things, but you know what? Let me call a friend. I'm going to use a lifeline. I'm going to call a friend. I called one of my friends who is an HR boss and said, hey, here's the situation my friend's running into. Can you give me some opinions? And they were like, oh, here's 2 or 3 things that you really should be thinking of. And I could go right back to that person. And to me, that's HR and like a boss, because they're a trusted advisor.
Tom, I cannot thank you enough for being on the show. You did an awesome job. I'm sure you'll even do a more stellar job on May 24th at the NOHRC series, again, in Independence, Ohio, at the Holiday Inn on Rockside Road. Make sure to register via clevelandSHRM.com to meet Tom and many others. Tom, hope you had a good time. Enjoyed your fellowship on this program.
Appreciate it, John. Thanks for the invite, and look forward to seeing many of you on May 24th.
Thank you for listening to the HR Like a Boss podcast. If it resonates with you, please leave a rating or review, or better yet, subscribe and share with a friend. Until next time, let's continue to aspire to do amazingly awesome HR.